Good evening, people, ladies and gentlemen. As always, just give me a second to tweet and post on the YouTube and all that stuff, and then I'll get on with my normal stuff. So, Nashville. It's quite the race weekend. But almost done. David, welcome. Oh, at Detroit for IndyCar. I hope you had fun there. He said you had a wonderful day, so that's good. Very good. Good to hear. And as I said, almost done. That should be it. Hat on. And boom. Hello. Guess I need to move this up so I can actually see the comments. Or oh no, what have I done? There we go. All right. Okay. Now that we're ready to really start, what is this? This is 0x. Oh, I think I know what this is about. This is like Around the Horn. They gave me the powers of Around the Horn after Around the Horn, the great ESPN show that they killed. They gave me the power. You can like award points or something to commenters or something like that. I didn't read through it all. Probably should have. They gave me power. That's a horrible thing for them to do. Anywho, we got to start the stream off with some news from today. We got a couple things of news to cover first before we get into the weekend, Nashville and Spain and all that. It'll be fun, but it'll be a normal stream as always. We're going to go through our tabs. Race results, Instagram, that's a different one, but it has to do with F1, trust me. F1, SVG recap, fantasy standings, and then the entry list. So, yeah, we're going to start off with the news, though. Klaus NZ, welcome. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're having a good, let's see, what time is it? Is it afternoon in New Zealand? I think it is. If it's not, good morning. Colleague Racing will not appeal the Daniel Dye disqualification. So, guys, it happened again. We had another disqualification. NASCAR and their sick addiction to disqualifying people has not been stopped. Yeah, obviously it's teams breaking the rules. It's not actually a NASCAR problem, but teams keep on pushing that edge and they keep on going too far over the edge. And as a result, they're getting disqualified. We got I don't even know. It's so hard to count, but we got another one and colleagues just accepting it. So kind of makes it boring, I guess, because they're not going to appeal. But obviously, if they know they're not going to win the appeal, you actually have to pay money to appeal. So it's not worth the money, I guess, in their eyes. So, yeah. Anywho, Daniel Dye is still disqualified. He still finishes last. That is one tab complete. I should probably put it on. Wet water. Bam. Next up, Corey LaJoie. Corey LaJoie, of course, used to drive for Spire Motorsports in the Cup Series before getting traded to Rick Ware Racing for Justin Haley. Well, Corey LaJoie is now the Amazon person. He does the pre- and post-race shows. And he's now going to be a Truck Series driver part-time back for the team he used to drive for, Spire Motorsports. That's right. Corey LaJoie will pilot the number 07, I almost said 00, Silverado part-time through the remainder of the 2025 season. Those races include Michigan, which is, of course, this upcoming weekend, Richmond in August, Darlington in August, Bristol in September, New Hampshire in September, Charlotte, that would be... Are the trucks running the Roval? Am I just now figuring this out that the trucks are running the Roval? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I don't think they've ever run the Roval. They sure are. The Truck Series is running at the Roval. Wow. Exciting. All right, he's running at the Roval. He's running at Talladega, Martinsville, and Phoenix. Well, then. How about that? So Corey LaJoie is back in a race car. Yeah, so he's back with Spire, which is kind of awkward in a sense, but I mean, not like a bad. Well, yeah, I guess it would be a little bit. Anyway, I'm over speculating. But Corey LaJoie fans rejoice. Next up, race results. In between the lanes, welcome. How are you? Yeah, that was a couple hours ago. Sometimes news, like, we're so close to the streaming time. I'm like, I'll just save it for Monday. Or Monday night. I mean, I that came out today, Monday, but thought, hey, wait till Monday night. I'll lead off with it. So, anywho. But yeah, race results here. We already talked about it last night, I know, but doing a deeper look at it since we got time. And as I said, I always miss things, so this is kind of my opportunity to make up for my mess ups. But host of our second, it's a great run for him. Jones 7th, that's a big one. Bubba Wallace, they had been really sliding the last few weeks. They desperately needed a good result. Remember, they started the year off really strong, but they've had a bad stretch here, so they really needed a good finish, and they got that good finish. They tried their best to not get it, but they ended up getting it nevertheless. And they're going to a track that is great for them next week at Michigan. Coming through here, Zane Smith had a solid day. Collected some stage points. Kyle Busch didn't wreck himself. Finished 12th. Suarez, I think I talked about it a bit last night, but they had a really bad start to the race. They ended up obviously finishing decent. If you showed someone this after how they started the race, they would probably say, oh, good finish, considering how it started when you're battling with Cody Ware, but I think the expectation should be higher, but still 16th isn't bad. And they moved up in the points, and they had been in the 30s, which is terrible for them. Really good night for Custer. Haas Factory team, they've struggled this year. Now we're getting to kind of the lower, so this would be more of the struggle bus here. How about top 35 for J.J. Yaley? Top 35 for Chad Fincham. Bowman, they've been struggling. Speaking of people who are struggling, he's struggling right now. I mean, they gotta get it together. Borderline Briar, welcome. So yeah, it's Ryan Blaney wins. Blaney, obviously, he had not won this year prior to this weekend. It's not even like that. Like if we come over here to the points, he's probably 5th in points. Okay, well he's 7th in points. I was close. He's 25 points off. Close enough. Anywho, Blaney's 7th in points. They would be higher if this number wasn't so big. Like the DNFs have killed them this year, and the worst part for him is some of the DNFs, like Homestead, they were leading the race. They had dominated that race, but then the engine blew. And they end up finishing 37th. I don't know, somewhere in the 30s when they should have been, finishing in the top 3. That's a 40, 50 point swing. And that 40 to 50 point swing could catapult them into 3rd in points, I guess, maybe. So, yeah, it's... They've had some bad luck this year. Things haven't gone their way. Cautions have fallen at the wrong time. Like, you can make all those arguments, but they needed a win, and they finally got themselves a win. So, we all knew it was coming at some point, but hey, they ended up getting a win. Yeah, Borderline Briar, I gotta be honest with you. I got an email about this last week. There's a way to turn it off. The way I read it, though, I thought it was like I handed out points, like, around the horn. But it turns out that you yourself, the YouTube hands you the points. I think I can turn it off. I don't know how to turn it off though right now. It is a bit distracting, I'm not gonna lie. There's like three different shades of purple up here. I don't know what to do with it. I don't want to. Oh no, I don't want to remove comments. um, so I'll look into it if it's distracting, but I don't even think you get anything out of it. There's like a leaderboard or something. There's 4 people on it right now, so I don't think you get anything out of it. I can turn it off. I really don't know. I don't know what to do here. YouTube adds all of these features, and I can't keep up with them, frankly, because I don't know. Sometimes they send emails, and it's a foreign language to me. Some of the stuff they send me. They also keep pushing me to do shorts. Still not doing shorts, YouTube. Anywho, yes. Raja won the truck race. He got out front and he held on. I thought for sure that Heim was going to pass him. Obviously, Corey Heim, best in the truck series by far. But Raja did a great job holding him off. Obviously, Raja, they have not won since Vegas in the spring of 24, so it's been over a year since his last win. And yes, obviously, Corey Heim has won a lot of races there. We've seen some Cup guys. We've seen Kyle Larson, Kyle Busch, Byron Hocevar maybe win some truck series races. So it's not like, yes, we can go down this list. Lane Riggs has won races. Daniel Hemrick has won a race. But you go down this list, you're not going to see a lot of winners. Chandler Smith, Ty Majeski, Grant Enfinger, but outside of that, not much in terms of the full-time truck guys. And that's how it usually goes. So it had been a while. I don't know where, we could go back to the standings and see where the truck series standings are right now. Raja is 10th. He was 13th before this weekend, so they were actually really not in a great position points-wise. So this win kind of catapults them into the playoffs, and I don't want to say saved their season because, they could have gone on a run here, or they might go on a run here, but it significantly improved their chances. And obviously you want to win every chance you get. So it's a big deal for them to win. It's a big deal for them to win on speed. It's a big deal for them to hold on against Corey Heim, who's the best in the truck series, leads 61 laps. It was a great weekend for him. He drove fantastically. Pit crew executed. So it was a great job by Raja Caruth. Was there anything controversial in the trucks? I'm trying to remember. I don't think there was. Maybe that was last week. I can't remember. All the truck races sometimes, they just mesh together in my head when they're, they always get spread out, and then every once in a while they clump them in together, and there's like 3 in a row. And it's like, whew. Anywho, that's the truck series. Xfinity, someone said something on Xfinity earlier. Yeah, Sawalich was having a good run. He was running like 11th or 12th, I want to say, before he spun out. And that killed their day. They got some damage, and I think they end up DNFing. They end up finishing 35th, which is story of their season. 35th, he led the first 37 laps of the race. They scored some stage points. It was looking like it was going to be a great day. Finally getting something done. And the crash happens. They end up finishing 35th. Christian Eckes, story of his season too. He does nothing wrong. Big crash happens. He happens to be there. Bam, he's out of the race. And if we go to the Xfinity points, by the way, Justin Allgaier won. He wins a lot, whether it's stages or the race. Perfect race, by the way. Sweeps the stages and gets the bonus point for the fastest lap. So Justin Allgaier with a perfect day. Good for him. But if we come over to the Xfinity points, which, by the way, that's another thing I want to talk about. Secondly, why? NASCAR's app. Guys, if I come over here to the NASCAR app, I'm going to show you. Got to turn on Do Not Disturb. I don't want any notifications coming up. When I come to the NASCAR app, look, okay? they have the option for the playoffs where you can check the playoff cut line. The NASCAR website, where is that option? Why can I not check that? You're going to make me do the math myself on the computer, but I don't have to do it on the phone? That's confusing. Like, what? Can we get the playoff cutoff plus minus thingy watch it here? Like, you're going to make me think? You're going to make me actually have to use my brain for once? How dare you? But no, seriously, it would be a nice feature to have on the website, but oh well. Just saying. Back to the Xfinity points. Actually, I want to talk about all 3 points. So, first of all, regular season championship in trucks, it's locked up. It's not mathematically locked up, but let's be real. Daniel Hemrick and Chandler Smith are not catching Corey Heim. 122 and 125 points. Corey Heim could sit out for the rest of the regular season, which I think is like 5 or 6 races, and he would be fine. Because Hemrick and Smith would have to run like 1-2 for 4 of those 6 weekends. Like, he's fine. Corey Heim is fine. He's going to win that regular season championship. Now we go to Xfinity. Justin Allgaier has a 92-point lead. Now they got much more racing to do in the regular season, but I would argue, barring a massive collapse, I think Justin Allgaier's got this wrapped up. He's been much more consistent. He has 10 top 5s. Like, they've led the most laps by a mile. I feel pretty good about Justin Allgaier winning the regular season championship in Xfinity. Like, that's not a competitive regular season championship either. But then Cup, we come over to Cup. This was much more competitive like 3 weeks ago. But now Byron's starting to gap Larson. I mean, Larson was leading this thing 2-3 weeks ago, but now Byron's got a 48-point lead. So, point being, Larson, catch up, make this regular season championship exciting at least. I don't want to see all 3 series have the regular season championship be a blowout. Now, if it happens to be that way, congratulations. You see the best team win. Round of applause. That's how it played out. I'm not going to complain, but if I'm voting, I would like to see a more competitive championship. I think everyone would. Oh, yeah. Borderline Briar. Xfinity. We can't. Gotta freaking do the bubble myself. Of course. Sanchez is the last. No, because Sammy Smith has a win. So Sammy Smith, jump him in. Burton's the last car in. He is plus 15 on Sanchez. And he's plus 32 on Taylor Gray. Plus 48 on Daniel Dye. Thank you for the easy math, Daniel Dye. 48 plus 15 is 63. 63 points on Dean Thompson. I don't feel like doing the math for the rest of them. Playoff bubble for the Truck Series. I think 10 make the playoffs here. So Raj is in. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So Majeski would be the last one in. He is plus 48 on Gio, 49 on Friesen, 51 on Ben Rhodes, and everyone else farther on back. That's too much math for me. So, yeah, unless there hasn't, please don't tell me there's been a winner down here. Okay, there hasn't. Cool. And then Cup Series, bubble 16. We got Barry down here who's got a win. That's it. Okay, good. So bump everyone down a spot. So that would mean Priest is out, Bush is in. Kyle Busch has a plus 2. Hocevar's minus 4. Stenhouse is minus 6. Allmendinger's minus 7. Barry's in. 13. Minus 13 for McDowell. God almighty, that's so close. Ooh, no, don't zoom in like that. And then plus 11, that's minus 24, I think, for Nemechek. So the playoff bubble's really close in Cup, but it's still really early. So, I don't know. Playoff talk in June. It's like 2 days of June. We're already talking about the playoffs. Woo. Kial, apologies if I pronounced that incorrectly, but thank you for the nice words. I appreciate it. Glad you enjoy it. Disappointments of this year. Cup. I would go Brad. That would be my top disappointment. If you told me he had, like, with the way they ended 2024, if you told me they were disappointing this year, like, if you just told me very vaguely Brad Keselowski's going to be disappointing this year, I would have said he would be, like, here, 23rd to 25th. That would have been my definition of disappointing. 32nd. That is quite the fall off. That is quite the drop off from what I thought he was going to be, ladies and gentlemen. And then, if we go to Xfinity, Sawalich. I don't even have to look at the points. It's probably Sawalich. Full-time Xfinity Series in a Joe Gibbs racing car, 25th in points. That's not good. I will say he had a good Nashville up until the crash, and he's still learning. He's a really young driver, but fact of the matter is Joe Gibbs racing car should not be this low. In the Xfinity Series, within 60 points of the last full-time driver. That is not good. And as for trucks, I'll say Ben Rhodes being out of the playoffs right now, that's not pretty. I'm going to go with Ben Rhodes in the trucks. Breidinger, she's had a rough season. You can't deny it, but you look at her career, it's hopefully they didn't rush her up, but it's been a rough start to the year and whatnot. She's the second lowest of full-time drivers. She's in a really good truck, so I would say that's pretty disappointing, but she's so young. That's a tough case to judge. So I would say it's either her or Ben Rhodes, in my opinion, for the most disappointing. On the truck side, Xfinity Sawalich, Cup Brad. That's my opinion. I'm sure people have other opinions. Frankie Muniz, he's the lowest of the full-time truck drivers, so sure you can make that argument, but he's not in the greatest truck. That's the thing. 6 DNF, I think that's the DNF category. Yeah, 6 DNFs is a lot of DNFs, but it's not always his fault. It's mechanical failures and whatnot as well, so not always on him, but you gotta just kind of case by case when you're looking at it. I'm going to be realistic. I don't think Chris Wright's passing Sawalich in points. That would take a lot. That would take like 6 straight DNFs from Sawalich, and Chris Wright would have to get a haul of points in a couple of those, so it's not happening. Guess I should have gone back to the standings, maybe. I don't know. College softball is getting interesting. OU and Texas Tech are tied at the bottom of the 7th. Texas Tech can walk it off and go to the championship to play Texas. That's exciting, I guess. Well, as a Texas fan, I'd say it's exciting. Well, one of Tech or OU's got to lose, so that's fun. I prefer OU losing, though. That's funnier in my opinion. Don't know what you mean there, David. I know I've complained about this before, but I miss the days when you could click on a category on this website and it would just reshuffle it in order. Oh well. Cinder or Busher with -5 playoff points because of his penalty. Barry's got 6. Like, I would like to be able to go laps led and see who's led the most laps this year, but I can't. Lars, oh no, what? Oh, it does that every week. 851, 670. It's a drop off to Hamlin, and then after that, it's not that big of a drop off to Blaney. Logano, Penske's led a lot of laps this year. When's the last time all 3 Penske guys have led 220 plus laps in a season? Got to pull up Racing Reference. Racing Reference always has the answers. Let's go Cindric first. I would bet that out of those 3, he would have the least amount, so. Let's see here. Cindric. All right, he's 28 laps away from leading more than he's led last year. Or 29, technically, to be more. 28 would tie it. 2023, he only led 33 laps. 2022, he led 86. So this would indeed be the first year. If we're using like 250 or 300, let's put 300 at the number. Joey Logano has led. Hold on, it's loading. Got to give it a second to load. Last year, he only led 414. The year before, he only led 308. 2022, he led 784. Joey, what? Wow. All right, here's a shocking statistic for you. All right, you guys are not ready for this. Joey Logano, 3-time Cup champion, has only led over 1,000 laps one time in his career in a single season. He's led 934 in 2018, 939 in 2020, 993 in 2014, but he has never, except outside 2015. 2015, he led 1,431, and statistically, that is by far his best year. 6 wins, 22 top 5s, 28 top 10s, and 6 poles. Outside of that, he has never led over 1,000 laps in a single season. That's shocking. Wow. Did not know that. That is, that is something. I mean, Ryan Blaney, I'm about to pull up Blaney's stat profile. I bet he's done it 3 times in his career. Let's see here. Blaney. All right, maybe I overestimated Blaney's laps led. He hasn't even led 700 in a single season. So, most he's ever led is 668 back in 2020. 660 in 2018. 636 in 22. His championship season, he only led 562? Man, I overestimated Penske's laps led. Wow. All right. Wow. Would you have guessed Joey Logano, 3-time champion, has only led over 1,000 laps one time in his career? Is that tweet worthy? I think that's tweet worthy. I might have to tweet that later. All right. Yeah, Stenhouse, he obviously he punched Kyle Busch that one time, and now everyone, anytime Ricky gets wrecked, everyone's expecting Ricky to go punch the guy in the face. Obviously he did not, because there was a tunnel so he could get out of the track and he didn't have to sit there and wait to leave and then go see Hocevar. So hopefully they get that figured out. If not, we'll see if Stenhouse retaliates. Obviously, if he does anything too egregious, he'll get in trouble. But, he just races him a little hard, pinches him into the wall, gets him loose, or maybe even just spins him out at the most. But we'll see how Stenhouse handles it, I guess. That's actually a good question, Kyle. Once again, Kyle, Kial. Once again, if I pronounce your name wrong, I apologize thoroughly. Um, it's a good question. I mean, I think positive, I would say. I think there's some people that are like, man, you know, he's sitting 33rd, I want to say. He's 33rd in points. He's in a trackhouse car. That car should be doing better, is what people are saying. He's only there to win road courses. And, you're always going to have negative parts. But I think for the most part, people like him. Like, there's not really much he does wrong. So it's a good question. I have to go ask people. That could be a video idea. Just go to a race and ask people how they feel, if that made you happy. But yeah, it's a good question. But I would say positive. He was in the top 5 for the vote getters of the All-Star Open. So a good chunk of people like him. So there you go. That's the only statistic I guess I could provide for your question. Reddick will not miss the playoffs. He's 6th in the points. I don't see us getting a ton of winners this year. Like, we could see a wacky Daytona winner. I don't think we're going to see a wacky Atlanta winner. Like, Atlanta has proven the last couple of times, outside of that time LaJoy almost won there, we really haven't seen a wacky winner at Atlanta, or someone even try to be a wacky winner at Atlanta. So I think we get a normal winner. Maybe it's someone right here. Busch has run well there. Hocevar. Stenhouse could show up. Allmendinger's run well there before. So maybe someone here. But in terms of someone like down here winning at Atlanta, Suarez would be the biggest threat there. Technically Ty Gibbs, because he's in a Gibbs car. But like, I'm going to be real with you. I don't see Justin Haley winning. Ty Dillon. Gregson could shock the world, I think. Maybe Brad could show up. But like, if they're going to win, if anyone down here is going to win, outside of SVG's a separate case. If SVG's winning, it's a road course. Like, that's a given. But if anyone from 24th on down wins, I would think that it's going to be at Daytona. Ty Gibbs could maybe go win at an intermediate, a Michigan, a God almighty, what other intermediate? A Pocono, maybe even like an Iowa or something. But realistically, from 24th on down, it's going to be Daytona if they're going to make the playoffs. Now, SVG, once again, is a road course wild card. I would even say Suarez is in that road course wild card factor. Outside of that, I'm going to say Daytona for all those guys. Now, obviously, you keep coming up, like, McDowell could go win at Daytona, but that's expected. Jones could win at Daytona, or Todd could win at Daytona. That's expected. Priest could win it. Well, Priest could win at Daytona if he doesn't flip, but it's random. So the point being, I've gone on this random side tangent about all these different people who could win. Point being, I don't think we're going to get a lot of wacky winners this year. Historically, we have in the next gen era, we get 17, 18 winners a year, and we get, a Stenhouse picks up a win. McDowell has picked up wins when he was up front row. Then you get the random Harrison Burton from 32nd in the points. Like, you get some random wacky, like, where did they come from wins. I just don't think we're going to see that this year. If we do, I think it's going to be one case, and it'll be at Daytona, and everyone's going to be like, holy crap, Ty Dillon won at Daytona. How did that happen? Because even if a Shane Van Gisbergen goes and wins Mexico, in terms of the points, yeah, it's going to cause a massive ripple effect, but in terms of like the expectations, to be like, oh yeah, he won a road course. Like, everyone came into the year expecting that. Like, that's not earth shattering. So you kind of already factor that in. So I would say Reddick's not missing. I don't think there's any way Reddick misses unless I'm completely wrong, which has happened before. Bubba's he's sweating a little bit more because I wish I could pull up the playoffs. I got to go over my phone over here because the NASCAR website doesn't have a playoff bubble. Oh my goodness. Right now, Bubba has a 4 driver buffer. So he can afford 4 different winners from below the line. He can afford AJ Allmendinger winning at Mexico. He can afford SVG winning at Sonoma. He can afford Michael McDowell winning at Atlanta. And he can afford Eric Jones winning at Daytona. And then Bubba Wallace would be the last one in. But he can't afford an Austin Dillon Richmond win again. Like, if all that were to happen, he can't afford that on top of it. So, and then you also have to factor in there's a lot of racing left. Like, Bubba is really close in the points with Briscoe, with Bowman. Like, it's a really tight space right there, once again, like it was last year with Chastain and Buescher. So it's more likely, or it's more of a possibility for Bubba. If they can put together more performances like they did this weekend, I think they make it with ease. Because once again, I do not anticipate wacky winners this year like we did last year. So I think he's good, but I'm obviously less comfortable than, where Reddick is in the points right now. So borderline Briar, super long answer. I think that was you who asked that. No, it was David. It was David who asked that. Super long answer, but I think Reddick's safe, and Bubba is feeling 65% good right now. Reddick's feeling 98% good right now. Paint schemes. Ooh, paint schemes. Let's go to the Nashville Cup Series results. And I will think up of some paint schemes. Normal paint scheme, normal paint scheme, normal. That's better than the regular Raptor, the kind of charcoal grill flame one, I guess. The Chumba Casino one is weird. Whether it's on the 35, 23, or 45, it's weird. Normal paint scheme, normal paint scheme. He had a new one, but there's so much open space on the back half of the car, I can't fully enjoy it. Normal paint scheme. Normal paint scheme. Well, I will say, Chastain, the Busch car, they added a little bit more detail. Since it was in Nashville, they added a little guitar on there. That was a nice detail. Normal paint schemes, normal paint schemes, normal paint schemes, normal paint schemes. Normal paint scheme, normal paint scheme, normal paint scheme. Brad ran the Solomon plumbing scheme. That looked nice. Normal paint scheme. The Red Bull paint scheme, I'm still on the high that Red Bull's back in NASCAR. So, like last week with Zilich, this week with SVG, great to see them back. After watching Casey Kane win at at Phoenix all those years ago. Ty Dillon, I don't even know if I saw him on TV last night. John Hunter had a new paint scheme. I don't remember it though. Priest had a new paint scheme. It was nice. Austin Dillon had a neat paint scheme. Josh Berry, I don't remember what he ran. Ty Gibbs, the Interstate Battery scheme looked great. Yeah, I think that's it. I think that's all I got. The NOS paint scheme for Stenhouse looked cool too, so that's all I got in between the lanes. But it's been a while since we've answered that question, so thank you for asking it again. Herbst is not winning at Michigan, so we don't have to worry about that. Herbst will not win at Michigan. Allmendinger at Mexico is realistic. McDowell Atlanta is realistic. SVG Watkins Glen is realistic. Cody Ware at Daytona. More than likely it's unrealistic, but Daytona's had freakier things happen, so I'm not going to rule it out. So Herbst at Michigan, that's your only unrealistic one there, borderline Briar. But the odds of all of those happening at the same time, like, those odds are so extreme, I don't think the casinos would offer those odds. Like, that's how crazy you just offered. I hope the Thunder win the finals. That's what I'm voting for. In between the lanes. I'm sorry you're a Knicks fan, but it was really funny to see them lose. No offense. I'm sure there are great people in New York City. They got real cocky after winning a conference semifinal series, man. So to see them react to losing the conference finals, that was something. Oh, Oklahoma lost. Haha. Texas versus Texas Tech for a national championship. I never thought I would see the day. But Oklahoma losing, that's always funny. Texas fighting for a natty, that makes me happy. We're talking about other sports on here. It's been a fat minute since we've done that. You got to go back to like 2019 to do that. This is so confusing. I'm looking at this leaderboard thing or whatever. It's quite confusing. David, I still don't know what you. Okay, well, David, actually, great transition. David's talking about Ferrari strategy. Got to be honest, I don't really know. Ferrari actually did a good job yesterday because they got a podium. If we come over here to the standings, sorry, not the standings, race results. I'm going to cut this off perfectly. Good job, me. Piastri, okay, that's not a surprise. Norris, not a surprise. Leclerc, all right, a little bit of a surprise, but not insane. Russell, Hulkenberg, what? Hamilton behind Hulkenberg. What universe are we living in that the state kick Sauber is ahead of the Ferrari driven by Lewis Hamilton? What world are we in right now, ladies and gentlemen? Hadjar, okay, it's getting a little weird because we got a Red Bull Junior car, Gasly in the Alpine, and Alonso, Fernando Alonso, literally needed Lance Stroll to miss a race to even score points. Fernando Alonso got outscored by 14 points by Lance Stroll with one hand. If there's any Alonso fans in here, they're going to hate me for saying that. I made a joke. I'm sorry, Alonso fans, but it's been a horrendous season for him. He finally had something go right, but it was after Lance Stroll was out of the race because he was literally hurt. So I'm going to make jokes about Alonso. I feel bad for Lance Stroll. I hope he gets better. I hope he can race in Canada. But what are the odds that Alonso needed Stroll to literally be hurt to, score points? The reason I cut off at 9, though. Also, welcome, John, Jamie. Kyle Busch winning at Michigan's not too crazy because Busch has been better at the intermediates. I mean, he did solid at Nashville. He's done better at the intermediates, but I don't know. Jamie, whatever happened to Haley Deegan? She's in the IndyCar like Xfinity series or Truck series or something. She's in like the Indy Junior program. Anyways, back to the F1. I cut off at 9 because, as you'll notice, McLaren, Ferrari, Mercedes, freaking kick Sauber Ferrari, or state kick Sauber, whatever, Sauber. Lewis Hamilton and Ferrari behind the Sauber. Still funny. Red Bull Jr., Alpine, and Aston Martin. Who is not there? Well, obviously you could go Williams, Haas, blah, blah, blah. Red Bull is not there. Why is Red Bull not there? Because Max Verstappen, he certainly made a choice on Sunday, and that choice was violence. Now, not like extreme violence, but Max Verstappen's a four-time champion. He understands what it takes to win a championship. Entering this race, he was still technically in the hunt for the championship, despite the McLaren still being rocket ships. If he finishes 4th, like, don't get me wrong, he's getting out of touch. That would have been like 35, 36 point deficit or something like that. Like, that's still a stretch. But you're not completely out of it. Is my stream, is this working? Hello? Oh, no. Hello? Can you? Oh no. Test. Can you guys hear me? Is this working? I just looked up and the screen's frozen. Okay, it's working over there. That's still frozen over there. Okay. Oh, thank God I'm still here. All right. Anywho, that was freaky. Uh, where was I? Something about F1. I don't know. Point being, Max Verstappen, he gets forced off once again. I think he had space to try to go around the outside of Russell, but in F1, all these F1 drivers, the instant they get touched when they're side by side, they say, I'm going to go cut the corner. You know, I got forced off. And it's like, okay, like you can't even race side by side. Like, come on, guys. What are we doing here? Verstappen goes and cuts the corner. Team calls him up and says, hey, you got to let Russell by. You know, you cut the corner. Let him go. And Verstappen goes, let him go. And after he lets him go, he dive bombs it in there. Or I don't know if dive bombs. Maybe that's too aggressive. But he drives straight through the turn, and he just gives a little door slam to Russell. Russell didn't go off the track. Verstappen didn't go off the track, but they made contact. And it's like, oh my God, what are you doing, man? Point being, Verstappen doing that, like just door slamming Russell, demotes him to 10th. He gets 1 point. He ends up losing 24 points when if he finishes 4th or 5th or whatever, he gets 10 points and he only loses 15. He's still kind of somewhat in the championship fight, but now he's completely removed from it. I just don't understand the logic here. If we go to the driver standings, look at this. It's almost a 50-point gap now. It's two whole races essentially. I don't get what he was doing there. He issued like a somewhat apology over here on the Instagram. I haven't opened this website on the stream before, so this is a new one. But he said, we had an exciting strategy and good race in Barcelona until the safety car came out. Accurate. Our tire choice, still think it's so weird that the Europeans spell tire like that. They probably think I'm weird for spelling it with an I. I guess the Aussies and the Kiwis also spell it like that. We're getting distracted. I'm getting distracted. Our tire choice to the end and some moves after the safety car restart fueled my frustration, leading to a move that was not right and shouldn't have happened. I always give everything out there for the team and emotions can run high. You win some together, you lose some together. See you in Montreal. So like a somewhat apology there. He messed up. Owns up to it, which good for him. Like, as I said, like he messed up. He owned up for it. That's really good. But I was a little surprised that he only got 10 seconds. I really thought he was going to get more for that, but they thought otherwise. He is 1 penalty point away from a suspension. So Montreal, he screws up in Montreal. He's on the door of a suspension, but if he can survive Montreal, he's good because I think 2 of his penalty points expire on like June 26th or 27th. So that would get him to Austria. After that, 2 of those points expire, but then he has to go, what would it be? 4 months? I think it's till like October, November. He has to last that long without any penalty points because he would only have a 2.3 point buffer. So now, on top of that, he's just put himself in jeopardy of getting suspended, of missing a race, and he's lost all these points, so he's 2 races behind. So essentially, maybe he's probably going to show up here and just prove me wrong, but I would say that Max Verstappen is out of the championship hunt, unfortunately. Yeah. Anywho, I can close out of this website. Thank goodness. Hello, Dirty Death. Hello, George. Thank you for confirming that the stream is not completely broken. It glitched out a bit 5 minutes ago or whatever. Ooh, time flies when you're having fun. Dirty Def, it's not certain. It's not like locked in. It's according to Bianchi, like it hasn't even been fully, they haven't even discussed it yet. Like they haven't started contemplating their actual decision yet. They know what the decision ultimately is going to have to be. It's SVG versus Suarez versus Zilich. They know that they have to fill in 2 seats with 3 guys. But I don't I don't know what they're going to do. As of right now, the last couple weeks for SVG have gone pretty well. I know the Nashville result doesn't show it, but they had the speed. So we'll see. I think they're going to wait till probably after Sonoma before they'll truly know to see how SVG does on the road courses. But as of today, I'd say he's fine, but you never know. So I don't think they dump him this early, but as I said, you never know. Speaking of, should we just go ahead and do the? It's late. Okay, do we want to do the fantasy standings first, or do we want to do the SVG recap first? I'll pull up the race results and go to them. And then we'll go to standing, put them next to each other. We'll do the fantasy standings first. I feel like doing the fantasy standings first. Oh, Jamie said the SVG. If Jamie said it, we might have to do it right now. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. Give me a second. Review my notes. Okay. Huh. I was on the wrong side of the notebook. Okay. By the way, I hope you guys were listening to SVG's radio last night. It was funny. He cursed out Kyle Busch. We'll get to. If you guys go to the video, I'll add the audio of his rampage. It wasn't a rampage. He said 2 bad words. Okay. I think I'm good. We shall start. Okay. All right, guys. Give me like 10 to 15 to do the SVG recap, and then we will move on to fantasy and Monday picks. So thank you for your patience. Okay. Nashville, Tennessee. It's known for music and Vanderbilt University. That's right, Vanderbilt, the Commodores. They beat Alabama in football. If you're from Australia and New Zealand, you might have no idea what I'm talking about. It's okay. Someone out there will get it. But anyways, Shane Van Gisbergen made his first ever start in the NASCAR Cup Series at Nashville. And look at this. It's the Red Bull car. Ooh, fancy. And the sunset. Very pretty. Anywho, SVG's first ever race at the Nashville Super Speedway. He ended up finishing 25th, but that doesn't tell the whole story. Of course, just 1 week ago in the Coca-Cola 600, he got his first oval top 15 of the season. Really good run. They were up in the top 20 all night. So how did they back it up? And they actually had speed once again, but as I said, ends up finishing 25th. So how did he get there? So interesting note about Nashville, it is technically Trackhouse's home track. The Trackhouse Entertainment Group and Justin Marks, they are based, or they live in Nashville. So Nashville, it's a very big deal for Trackhouse for the 1, the 88, and the 99. Tootsie's, which sponsored the 99 this weekend, they are a bar, lounge, concert area or something in downtown Nashville. It's like a really big deal, as I said. So a lot of heavy emphasis placed on this race for Trackhouse. It's a 1.33 mile, which is equivalent to 2.14 kilometer racetrack. The banking is 14 degrees in the turn. They got a tri-oval, so it's 9 degrees of banking in the front. And interestingly enough, the backstretch actually has 6 degrees of banking. It's a good chunk of banking. It is a concrete racetrack. The majority of tracks we go to, I believe, are asphalt. But Dover, Bristol, Nashville, I believe those are the only 3 concrete tracks. Someone in the comments of this live stream can correct me if I'm wrong. But yes, that's another interesting fact about this racetrack. Now, SVG, after the great performance at Charlotte, was in Group B this week. And you may be wondering, why am I telling you this information? I have not told you what group he has been in all season long in these SVG race recaps. Well, it's because being in Group B is a good thing. Group B, they go out second. Group A cleans up the racetrack for them. They lay some rubber down. They kind of get the track ready for Group B in a sense. And so Group B, they are usually the top driver, so naturally they're quicker. But they usually put down the quicker lap times as well. So SVG was able to go out later in qualifying, which is preferred. And as a result, he put together his best non-super speedway oval qualifying effort of the year together. I believe he technically qualified better at Daytona, but based off the duels, he ended up starting behind. So this was his best oval start of the season. Let's just not complicate, say it that way. He ends up starting 23rd in this race. Honestly, like a quiet stage 1 on the radio for the 88 team, like from everyone except for the spotter. The spotter's always talking because he has to be, but Steven Duran didn't say too much. Shane didn't say too much. By lap 6, he was in 20th. On lap 25, Steven Duran asked him about the bump. There's like this bump in turns 3 and 4 that goes over the tunnel to get in and out of the racetrack, and they had to like repatch it, and it's this bump. And so everyone talked about it the entire weekend. Steven Duran asked, like, hey, how's it handling over the bump? And SVG said, not terrible. Lap 36, just a little bit free. Like, no big complaints, not saying it's terrible or it's way too tight, way too loose. Just said a little bit free. This first stage was 90 laps long, so you're going to pit somewhere in the middle here. They pitted on lap 41. They were 21st at the time. Just ran 20th, 21st the majority of the stage. Said that the car felt good, but it was a bit snug in the center. And then they end up finishing stage 1 22nd. So basically finished where they started. They got up as high as 20th, started 23rd, finished 22nd. They kind of ran literally just in this position group of 4 cars. They only did slight adjustments. You know, the car was feeling good for SVG. No need to throw everything at it, take a long pit stop, adjust some big things. Like, he was doing fine at the time. He also apologized because during the pit stop, he went a little bit long in his box, and if you pit outside the box, it's a penalty. He wasn't quite outside the box, but they did have to adjust where they actually pitted him in the pit stall. They had to move to him versus him moving to them. They restart 22nd. They end up falling to 26th. There's a quick caution on lap 105. First bad word of the night. If I remember seeing it right, I think he, like, in turns 1 and 2, he hit the apron a bit when he made a move, and he kind of slid up the racetrack, and that's when he fell to 26th. He said, I made a good move, then I effed it up. So we try to keep it somewhat PG on here. They end up taking 2 tires. They come out 25th. And then on lap 112, I'm calling it the Kyle Busch incident. I wrote that down. Like, I got to cover up the multiple bad words, I think. I called it the Kyle Busch incident. It wasn't actually an incident. There was no spinning. There was no wrecking. Dang it. I meant to do this. I'm going to have to record this after, but I'm going to go actually watch the Kyle Busch tape of what happened from his perspective, and then I'll get back to you. Anyways, that's what ends up happening, and that's what you can see from the Kyle Busch point of view. But SVG gets on the radio. I forgot to pull up the quote, but he says a couple of bad words here. I ended up tweeting it. I think it's like the first time I've ever tweeted these words too, which is kind of funny. But SVG gets on the radio and says, "What the F was that 8 doing? What a bleep head." So yeah, SVG was not happy about the move that Kyle Busch put on him. Came on the radio, said some mean words, and that was that. Like, as I said, like, I wrote down incident. They never made extreme contact, I don't think. Remember, I haven't looked at the Kyle Busch footage yet. But it was nothing to ruin a day. It was nothing to cut a tire or spin someone out. But he was salty about it in the moment. I don't think it'll boil over. So it's nothing but, like, I wrote down incident. It wasn't really an incident, but it was just really funny. The response to it I thought was really funny. So he ends up falling to, after all of this, he falls back to 29th, which is the lowest he ran all day. Had to dodge a wreck in the process because like 2 laps later, Bowman and Gregson start wrecking. But yeah, just as I said, really funny incident. After avoiding that incident, they end up restarting 28th, and then guess what happens, guys? Another caution. It's like the Texas recap. We got another caution, baby. Lap 26, they're up to 22nd, and then just a few laps later, guess what happens? Another caution. That is right. So after this other caution, they end up restarting 19th. We've had a few people pit by this time, but they can make it to the end of the stage. 49 laps to go in stage number 2. On lap 140, SVG makes a pass to get up to 16th, gets on the radio and says, "Woohoo." Thought that was noteworthy, apparently. And then this is quite the quote. No curse words either. I don't have to self-bleep. I don't have to, mute anything. This is the best balance I've had, lap 149. Real-life words from Shane Van Gisbergen. And then in the last 5 laps of stage number 2, he makes up 3 spots, finishes 13th in stage number 2. Now, yes, he doesn't get any stage points for that. Statistically, doesn't do much for him, I guess. But when you look at his results this season, if we come over to his statistical profile, which I love doing, by the way, during these live streams, we look at a lot of statistical profiles. We come over to the driver's stats. On the ovals, ignore COTA. That's different. Finishing position, 33rd, 23rd, 31st, 34th, 32nd, 34th, 20th, 30th, 29th, 20th. It's been getting better, obviously, as time has gone on. But in the stages, in the early parts of the race, we have not seen him competitive in these races, finishing well in the stages. And yes, I know the ultimate goal is stage points, but when you look at a situation like Shane Van Gisbergen, to finish 13th in stage 2 at Nashville in a car he's never driven at, or a cup car he's never driven at the track, I think that's a win for that team. Brutally honestly, I think that's a win in the sorts. Unfortunately, though, after such a strong start to the race, running right outside the top 10 to start stage 3, which is the most critical stage of the race, unfortunately, that was their peak. That was the highest they would go. Prior to the stage caution, or prior to the, stage pit stop, SVG said that the car was great. They had a slow pit stop. They were slow on the left rear, had to wait a bit for it, but they only lost a couple of positions. They end up restarting 15th, so still in a decent position. Not a great restart, though. They end up falling back to 20th. There's a quick caution, so all of a sudden you're shuffled back a little bit more, a little bit further off the top 10, obviously, but still not a bad position. Steven Duran comes on the radio with 79 to go, says that they're looking to make 30 or 40 more laps on the tires. And at this point, they're running 19th, so they've only made up a single spot at this points. So with 57 to go, the pit cycle begins. Everyone starts pitting for their final pit stop of the race. At this point, SVG is P20. 51 to go, SVG actually comes on the radio. Remember last week at Charlotte, they ran long. They stayed out much longer than the leaders in the majority of the field so that they would have a tire advantage to go past cars, and they end up going from 18th to 14th. Tires were not wearing this weekend. You could take 2 tires and you could run great. As long as you had track position, you were in a good spot. Like there was not a lot... There was passing, but it was extremely difficult to pass this weekend. So track position was key. Staying out long at Charlotte last week worked. It's fresh on their minds. So Shane Van Gisbergen with 51 to go, he comes on the radio and says, if we could keep running, I'd like to. He wants to keep going. At this point, the way the cycle had come out, he was running 6th. I think they ended up technically getting to 2nd or 3rd through the cycle. Whatever you want to do with that information. They end up pitting. They come back out on the racetrack in 26th, and they only get to 25th. So ultimately, them staying out late last week worked. They end up making up 4 positions. The tires were wearing. Everything was working out well. This week, that call did not work out. It was a great start to the race. Stages 1 and 2 went fantastically. They started up front. They ran well. They end up finishing in the top 15. They had a right strategy call at the end. Everything went right for them last week. They put together a full race, I would say, outside of the little bit of the damage on the splitter, which wasn't their fault. They put together a full race last week on an oval. This week we saw some slips, in a sense. We saw some cracks, I guess, if you want to call it that way. Late in the race. Started out great. Had a great second stage. Got up to 13th, but in the third stage slipped back. Slow pit stop. Not a great strategy call there at the end. They end up 25th. And some more news for Shane Van Gisbergen. Unfortunately, there's this thing called the in-season tournament. It is new to NASCAR this season. 32 drivers fighting for $1 million over 5 races. Whoever advances the furthest, whoever is the final guy standing or whatever, they win $1 million American dollars. Unfortunately, the next 3 races seed that race, and you had to be top 32 in the points in order to be in that competition. And as you can see here in the points, SVG 33rd. So Shane Van Gisbergen will not be fighting for the in-season tournament championship. Finishes 21 points outside of the playing field. I don't even know what to call it at this point. But he still gets to race. Like, he's still going to be racing. He's still going to be fighting for, top 15s, top 10s at Michigan next week. He's still going to get a chance to win at Mexico in 2 weeks. So it's not like their season's over right now. It's just an in-season tournament. It's a fun kind of spice up the summer. Usually NASCAR in the summer, this is kind of like the low point of the year. Everyone's like, all right, let's just get to the end of this thing. Let's get to the playoffs. Early season hype is worn off. Like, it's just the middle, So they're trying to spice it up a bit. But Shane Van Gisbergen's still going to be racing. SVG fans, you only have to wait 13 more days now, I think, till a road course. So I know you guys will be happy then for that. But yeah, he's getting some better oval finishes now, though. So anywho, I'm going to go back to this live stream now. Thanks for watching this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll go rewatch that Kyle Busch footage, and I guess you've already seen it because I've edited it in. Okay, back to the live stream. Okay, fantasy. Let's see how my team did. All right, I had Logano in there. Jamie, your GOAT. All right, this was not a terrible call. This was a bad call. Should have subbed him in. Not the greatest usage. Not the greatest usage. It was probably a bad week. I just want a top 15. Please tell me I got a top. Oh my God, 23rd. Tyler Hernandez 6. Good job. You got the race. You got the race win. Ugh, 23rd. Let's go to the league standings. This is going to be embarrassing. I fall to 17th. Dunkin' Donuts is our new leader. Dunkin' Donuts and Klaus Van Gissenbergen exchanging blows for the championship lead. Zerkman 95. Just a little bit over 100 points out of it. RT Racing. Hell on Wheels 25. That's our, or 24. That's our top 5. Fantastic Priest is up there in 6th. Aussie Matt. Oh, here we go. In 8th place is expat _ Kiwi _ Mike _ Wallace. Dan the Jets fan, our defending champion, is still in a championship hangover. 9th place. Zero Apex, Matt Smith 53, Tyler Hernandez 6. That's our race winner this week. David Jerry, Oscar Dave, Micah MLB 15 is 15th. That's appropriate. Crackler, I'm Stupid in 17th. Sports Wagon, Dr. Zero, Jamie the Lifelong Logano fan, Hack Dash House, Knee, Supercar Nut, Space Wrangler Racing, Tritech, JTF 526, Rebutted, and a bunch of people who still have not filled out their entries. That's our fantasy league. Let's go make our Monday picks. We have 2 races this weekend. We got the Truck Series and we got the Cup Series. Truck Series. Let's look for those notable entries. Wallace Allen in the number 1 truck. Norm Benning is in the race. Corey LaJoy is in the 07. We now know that. It's Corey LaJoy. Corey LaJoy is 125 years old. Fun fact. I bet a lot of you didn't know that. Man, look at this. Right up next to each other, we got 73-year-old Norm Benning and we got 125-year-old Corey LaJoy right next to each other on the entry list. How about that? Carson Hocevar's in the 7. Other notable entries. Ross Chastain's in the 44. That's it. Yeah. All right. Make your Monday picks. Truck Series. Nash Truck Night. Or Nash. Is it afternoon? It's an afternoon race, isn't it? They don't have lights. So it's Nash Truck Afternoon in America. Everyone make your Michigan picks for the Truck Series. Let's hear them. Come on, people. Make your Nash Truck Night in America, or Nash, what do we call it? Nash Truck Afternoon in America. Make your picks. Jamie's going with Corey Heim over Hocevar. Anyone else? Last chance. I got my pick. All right. I'm going with Carson Hocevar. I'm going opposite of Jamie. I'm going to go with Carson Hocevar to get the win. Yeah. Now for the Cup Series. I don't think we have any notable entries for like the first time in a long time. I think it's just a 36-car field. Yep, 36 cars. It's a rare moment, ladies and gentlemen. All right, David's going Corey Heim. In between the lanes, it's going with Corey Heim for the Truck Series. As for the Cup Series, while we don't have any notable entries, everyone go look at the entry list anyways and look at the sponsors, I guess, if you look into that. Kyle Busch is in the BetMGM car. Can you bet in Michigan? I don't know. I don't think I've ever been to Michigan. Denny Hamlin's in the Yahoo car. Who won this race last year? Reddick, I think? Yeah, I think Reddick did. I think that was like one of the 3 Monday picks I got right last year was Reddick. That and Harrison Burton. I'll never let you guys forget that. Byron's in the Raptor car. Lovely. Reddick, the defending winners in the Mobile One car. Ty Gibbs is in the that car. Shane Van Gisbergen's in the safety culture car. That's that purple car. Infinite Cool Underwear. That's nice. Everyone make your Monday picks. Let's see. In between the lanes is going Kyle Busch. Okay, I tried that last week. It failed miserably. Not miserably, but it failed. But we'll see what that does with in between the lanes. Maybe in between the lanes has better luck than me. Jamie's going with Bad Brad. That would be a playoff nuke because Brad Keselowski essentially has to win. He's never won at his home track. So that would be a really big deal. David's going with either Byron or Chase Elliott. Cowboys will win. John, if you're referring to the Dallas Cowboys, they don't win anything, so that's not happening. I don't know who's a Cowboy in this field, though. Is anyone like a boot sponsor or like a cowboy hat sponsor this week? Gregson, maybe? No. Gregson wears a cowboy hat sometimes. Garner Trucking, that sounds like something a cowboy would do. Maybe. Is that offensive? If it is, my bad, I guess. Let's see here. I don't even know what I'm doing at this point. Keep making your Monday picks. I'm trying to think of who I want to pick. I got this one right last year, so there's a lot of pressure on me. By pressure, I mean there's no pressure because who cares? I think I got my Monday pick. I'm going to go with Denny Hamlin. He was in a really good position last year to win this race, but he like wrecked himself or something or spun himself out when he was trying to pass someone for the lead. No, Jamie, I'm being boring and I'm picking a non-new winner. You were fun though. You picked Brad, so you get bonus points for being fun, I guess. But I'm being boring. I'm going with Denny. So, yeah. Anywho. I think that's it. I think that's all they got. Dan Campbell, yeah, the Lions, man, they lost to the Commanders last year. That made my Uncle Dickie happy though. He's a Commanders fan, so got that going for him. But anywho, I believe that's all I got for the evening. I gotta go do this SVG recap. I gotta go watch the Kyle Busch footage. In fact, what lap was that on? I'm not used to watching other people's in-car. 112, lap 112. Anywho, thank you guys for watching the stream. I hope you enjoyed it. We'll be back next week after Michigan. I'll talk about that next week. We don't have to worry about that right now. So, any disqualified drivers next race? Probably. Unfortunately, probably. But thank you guys for being here. And I will see you guys in the next one. There's supposed to be an announcement from Atlanta tomorrow. I think I know what it is, and I'm probably going to have to make a video on it. But get ready to learn Echo Park Speedway, buddy.